Okay, we're going to jump right in here. If you prefer, you can make a line drawing of this to start with, but I am just going to paint without a drawing because these shapes are very basic. So we're going to start with the shape of our milk box, and we're just going to do a rectangle with a light gray color. I come down right about here, and just like this. We want this side of our milk carton to be a little bit darker. So we'll put a little extra paint there. And then I'm going to rinse my brush out. And then move all the paint over. This way we end up with a slightly darker side and a slightly lighter side. Again, just smooth the paint over to where you want it to be. Just like that. Very simple. We're going to leave space for the tapered edge of our milk box. And I'm going to use that same color, so I'm going to come up just a little bit above and a little bit in for the very top of our milk box. So right about here, and we're just going to do a little line right here. So this is going to be a little bit shorter, or a little less wide, I should say, than our milk box, because this part of our milk box is going to be tapered. All right, so we're going to let that dry, and we're going to do the first layer of our cookie, our heart cookie. And again, I'm not going to draw, I'm just going to come right on in. So we're going to put our heart cookie right next to us. This is going to be the icing of our cookie. So we don't want to go all the way down to the bottom. If you want to make sure you don't go all the way down to the bottom, you could put like a little dot where you want to end, and then maybe a little dot where you want to start to help you. And then we're just going to come in and make our little heart shape. Go around the edge. This doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Cookies all kind of take their own shape anyway, right? The icing always seems to run over the edge or do something. Doesn't have to be perfect. So we'll get that all filled in. I'm going to put a little extra paint on this side of my icing so that we again have that light and shadow. All right, I'm going to come back to my milk box. This is actually almost dry. And I'm going to grab a little more paint. Make sure you don't have much water on your brush, because if this is not completely dry yet and your paint is too watery, then you'll get a bloom. So hopefully I have enough paint on my brush so that I don't get a bloom. And I'm just going to darken this side a little bit because I didn't quite get enough on there the first time. So that's just going to give some shape to our milk box. And then I'm going to go over the edge with a damp brush. So I rinse my brush out, and then I press my brush onto a piece of paper towel and then wipe over, and that will give me my brush. It'll be the not too wet so I don't get a bloom. Okay, let's keep going here. I'm going to now do the top of my milk box, and I'm going to pick up some blue, and this is going to be a tapered. It's going to come from edge to edge basically right here, and edge to edge. I'll go straight across. If it blends a little bit to the bottom of your milk box, it's not a big deal. And the same thing, we want one side a little darker. It's always the same side as the darker side. And since this is a little dark here, I'm just gonna brush that paint over to the other side where I want it. There we go. There's our milk box, and there's the start of our cookie, and my paper is warping, so you can see all of my puddle went over here. So what I'm going to do is I have rinsed my brush out. I've dried it on a paper towel. Actually, I'm going to rinse it a little more because I still had a little more blue in there. Press that out. I'm going to come pick this up, and because my brush is a little on the drier side, it'll just pick up that paint, and then I just wipe my brush on a paper towel to dry it again. I can just pick some more of that up right there. And if we want to, we can add a little more. Let me get a little more pigment. We can add a little more paint to our darker side. I'm just tapping it in. Now you can see I have a run of blue on the other side. You could leave it. I think I'm just going to leave it because we're going to outline this with pen, and sometimes having those little nuances and it not looking perfect actually looks really nice in the end. So I'm going to leave that and let that dry, and then we're going to come back and do the outer brown part of our cookie. And actually, let's see. Let's go ahead and do the heart on the belly of our milk box. All right, so we're going to come in with some pink paint, and we're going to give our milk box a cute little heart belly, just like so. This was dry enough. My house is super dry today because we have the heat on. It is the middle of the winter, and so all of my watercolor paints dry much faster than they usually do. Okay, so we've got our little heart belly, and I will do the same for the cheeks. I'm going to use a smaller brush for this so we don't have as much pigment, and the cheeks are going to go kind of right above and just to the outside of the heart. Draw a little circle, and we'll line that up and draw a little circle. Try to get them about the same size, and if you don't want them to have a hard edge, wipe your brush out on your paper towel, and then you can pick up some of the paint around the edge, wipe your brush out again, and pick up some of the paint around the edge. It just depends upon what look you're going for. Hard edge is fine, but if you want it to look a little softer, then you can pick that paint up. All right. We're going to let that dry, and then we're going to come back and add some more. Okay, it's all dry. So we're going to start by adding in some pen line. So to do that, oh, I have a little spill over here. To do that, I'm going to start with my 01 micron. I have a few different sizes here. I usually keep an 03 and a 05 on hand. So first we're going to start with our straw. So it's just going to be 2 lines and a little oval. So probably the easiest way to do this is we're just going to put a little dot where our straw is going to start and a little dot. And I probably want it to come up to about right here. So we'll put a little dot there. We're going to draw our line up. And then we can draw our little oval. And then we're going to draw a line up to our oval. If it's not perfect, don't worry about it. That's just fine. And from here, we're going to draw a curved line at the bottom of our straw. And then we can draw a couple more curved lines going up our straw. At the bottom of our straw, we want to show the opening of where our straw is sticking into, so we're just going to come around this way and come around this way. And that is the opening of our straw. Now we're going to start by drawing around the top of our milk carton here, and we can come out, up and over. And as you do this, you don't have to draw, oops, sorry about that. You don't have to draw exactly over where you painted. So you can draw a little bit on the inside, you can draw a little on the outside, kind of gives it a nice, nice cute little look to it. So that's the top of our milk carton. Then I'm going to come down the side of our milk carton, and this is going to go across, just gives it some more definition, and down. All right. So we want to give our milk carton a little face and eyes, so we're going to come right between the cheeks right here and do a little wide U. That's our milk carton smile, and then just above the cheeks, and we can kind of line up with the edge of our mouth. We're going to give 2 little upside down U eyes. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and give our milk carton some definition around the belly, the little heart belly. We're just going to do some little dashes all the way around. I like to start at the top and then work my way down to the bottom. Just like that. All right, we're going to give our milk carton some feet at the bottom. So we'll come down about from the edge of the eye, the outer edge, and we're going to draw some little ovals that overlap. Fill that in. And same thing on this side. You can try to make it about the same height by using dots. Draw an oval and fill in our oval. You can fill it in all the way or leave a little bit of a gap of white underneath like I did. Now we're going to give our milk carton some cute little hands. So we're just going to come up from the side this way and do 3 little fingers. And then we're going to come straight across and do the same thing over here. He looks like he's saying hi to us. Now we can finish the outline of our milk carton. So we're going to come down, and I usually just leave a little gap where the hands are. Just like so. Same thing with the feet, we're going to leave a little gap. And there he is. All right, we can go ahead and put the face on the icing of our cookie over here. So we're going to come down from the center of our heart, and we're just going to put a little smile right there. And then we're going to do little upside down U's for the eyes. I'm going to do 1 and 2. Just like that. All right, now we're going to put our pin away, and we're going to continue with the painting. So I started by mixing together some orange and brown and a little bit of yellow. And now we're going to just go around the outside of our heart icing. And that's going to be the edge of our cookie. When we get to the bottom, we're just going to round it out because that's usually how cookies bake up. They usually bake up with a little bit of a rounded edge. And come around here. And don't worry if it's not perfect. Sometimes the icing in our cookie is not perfectly centered. All right, and once I do the outline, I'm going to get some water and just touch where my paint is and blend the edge out toward the icing. As you go along, you can just rinse your brush and continue getting some more water. I started on the left side of my cookie because I want that side to be a little bit darker. So that side's naturally going to have a little more pigment because my brush was more full. And then I go to the right side And then just keep rinsing and using water. And if you get little lines, you can just leave them, or you can just brush over them with some water to blend them out if you like it blended. And now I'm going to come in with just a little bit more darker paint on this side. Sometimes the edge of our cookies get a little dark, right? Maybe if we leave them in the oven too long. All right, can add some more pigment in there. And that looks great. And now we can come back with a little bit more of our red pigment and kind of do the same along the edge of our icing here to make it just a little darker. Put just a little pigment on, a little paint, then rinse your brush, wipe it on your paper towel so it's not soaking wet, just have a little bit of wetness to it. And then just blend out that edge. Super easy. And because our pen is waterproof, make sure you're using a waterproof pen. Our pen lines are not going to run. If you don't have waterproof pens, then what you can do is just wait until the very end to do your pen lines. So you can come in and draw your cookie on, paint your cookie on, and then do your pen at the very end. All right, next we are going to get some dark red, and I'm going to paint in my straw. So we're going to paint our straw in just like so. I like to leave a little bit of a gap. All right, now we're going to take our micron pen again, and we're going to add arms to our cookie. So we can draw the arm up here like they're holding hands. Come about straight across. Let's fix the little hand over here. All right, and just like that, you have a lovely Valentine cookie. You can go ahead and outline your heart too if you want to. I'm not going to this time. You can add any type of saying on your card if you'd like to do that, or if you want to add a little bit of a background, you can absolutely do that. In fact, I will do that really quickly here. So you can come just along the edges and do a very light watery wash of purple, and this is going to help frame out our drawing here and give everything a little more definition. And then just come back with some water to blend those edges. Again, if you don't have waterproof pens, then do this step first and then come back and use your pen after. And if you'd like to, we could even add a little bit of a shadow beneath. So I'm going to come in here. And right here. All right, so you can decide what you want to write on your card. I think I'm going to write on mine, "We're better together." If you're really confident with your handwriting, you can just write it on with a pen, or you can also write it in with a pencil. Once this is dry, write it in with a pencil and then write over it with your pen. So now that that is done, we will go ahead and pull our tape, which is always extremely satisfying. I'm going to pull the top first because that's how my tape is layered. Really comes together once you take that tape off. I'll take this out of here. All right, we're going to round our edges to put it on our card. This is a corner punch that rounds the edges. You can find these at any craft store. But if you don't have one, just take a pair of scissors. And what you could do is take a coin, like a penny, and hold the penny on the edge of your paper and then carefully cut around it, or just draw around it and then cut on your line. In fact, if you do that, you might want to flip it over and draw your line on the back so that you don't see it on the front. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you paint this. If you do, please tag me on Instagram. I would love to see your creations. Okay, everyone, well, here is the finished card after I attached it to my little note card. I did go ahead and add some white lines with my white gel pen to accent the straw. So just a sweet little blank card just in time for Valentine's Day. And I did say that if you guys stayed till the end, I had something special for you. So here it is. You guys get a little preview of some of my Valentine card designs. And if you go ahead and leave a comment below of which one you would like to see me paint next, something special just might happen. Happy Valentine's Day!